Shalom Akim, Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahushua Ba'ashem Kwakadash, double honors and salutations to the elders and apostles of Great Stone who rule well, and the Akim pushing the word of Lord Yahweh Shai in sincerity and truth throughout the four corners of the earth. Alright, so you have this it's Edomite skipper, the US Navy that won this crew and let the word leak out to the so-called newspapers as per the the COVID-19 cases on a ship. All right, so it just proved that the Lord Abba Shimei Shai is letting Esau's plans fall apart. All right, so it says Navy relieves captain who raised alarm about COVID-19. So I just rewind the video real quick because it just goes to show the level of distrust, that these people are experiencing. They see that the military has been corrupted, that all the so-called top-notch in the ranks, a lot of a bunch of phonies and just misleading the people, all right, because they see the agenda. All right, they serve, because of the so-called safety nets, and they have that so-called mindset of patriotism. But when they see that their so-called patriotism is being taken advantage of by these people that have ties to all these billionaires and trillionaires on the face of the earth, so you're gonna have dissent, you're gonna have mutiny, and that's one reason why the tension between the people and the government is going to be real strong, because they see the fraud of the media, they see the fraud in the government, in the Pentagon and Wall Street, from the White House, whatever government agency, they see the fraud, they see the misleading, tactics. And how the Lord is. The Lord always reveal his secrets, right? Let the people know what the enemies are up to, even including the Gentiles, all right? And that's something to pay attention to, because when this shit hits the fan, it's going to be really serious, man. If you think it's just the sailors that are going to be revolting, you're going to have people in the Marines, people in the Air Force, you're going to have people in the state police, all right, people in the FBI, CIA, all these so-called government agencies, they're going to revolt, because they're going to understand what the whole, plan is. And they're beginning to wake up, they're beginning to be aware of the sinister plan of the elites. All right, so don't be surprised, man, when you're going to start seeing shit hits the fan. It's going to start having, folks getting punched on the job, for being a snitch to the elites. So you're going to have a lot of violence, man, in America. So this is just the beginning, man. This is just the beginning. The word has to get out, and those that choose to be on the enemy side, the enemies of the people, all right, you're going to see how that conflict is going to take place. So I'll play this video and I get some precepts.
I have watched that 10 times. It never fails to give me chills. Those were the chants of the men and women, the sailors, sending off their captain, Captain Brett Crozier. He is the ousted captain of the USS Roosevelt. He was relieved from his command after sounding the alarm to protect the men and women on his ship from a coronavirus outbreak. He sent a letter, we told you about it a couple days ago, pleading with the U.S. Navy officials for help after he found over 100.
Yep. So just imagine what if these people's families are going to do, because you have generations of families that serve in the armed services. Once they start finding out, they start putting the puzzles together, the puzzle pieces together, it's going to be crazy, man. Because they know exactly how nefarious, the plans are. So just expect, the Spirit of the Lord to turn on that animosity. Because, when the government wants to make a move to shut things down, you're going to have that pushback. Yeah, 'cause they already see it coming. So, end of the day, it's just a huge sign that we need to look out for and warn our people not to go along, with the so-called people that want to pick up arms and go against the government, because this is a spiritual warfare. All right, this is a spiritual warfare for the men of the Lord. All right, because these people are trying to fight to keep their way of life, to keep their so-called country. We're fighting, with the Holy Scriptures. We're fighting, the Ruach HaKodesh, by Hashem Yahushua, by Hashem Ruach HaKodesh. All right, to have a righteous kingdom upon the face of the earth. So expect, 2 Ezra chapter 15 to go into full steam.
People on board have been infected. We'll read you his letter again. It said this, quote, "This will require a political solution, but it is the right thing to do. We are not at war. Sailors..."
Yeah, so you know how they're going to mislead the sailors, to give them false information, because the so-called top brass, they're all bought and paid for. All right, so, their lives are just a piece of paper to the elites, because the elites take their plans for the New World Order very seriously. So they already know that, this American people, they're standing in their way. So they have to use that might to their advantage. And when you have incidents like this taking place, they get threatened. They have to go into damage control, try to control the narrative, okay? So the men of the Lord already see this taking place. So, that's just more fuel, for the fire, more ammunition for the battlefield. All right, because America, the land of America, the streets of America, is going to become a battlefield. Okay, because right now you have that, the battlefield is basically the internet right now. You have the fighting of ideas online. All that is going to come down to the street. You're going to see how people are going to treat each other. Folks want to hold the system of oppression together. Some people want to burn it down. So just imagine how that spark is going to be, that explosive anger going back and forth from city to city, from state to state, from neighborhood to neighborhood, because they see exactly all the damages that's been done. They see how their people have been treated. All right, they see the corruption, they see the destruction of their families by the so-called puppets in governments, okay, the so-called gatekeepers. So just imagine what they're going to do when they get their hands on them, when all hell breaks loose. So that's the reason why they built those bunkers, to hide away from the people, but they can't hide from the Lord.
Do not need to die. If we do not act now, we are failing to properly take care of our most trusted asset, our sailors. Navy officials say he exercised poor judgment in doing that, undermined national security by sending the letter to too many people. Joining us now from Capitol Hill, representing the great state of New York.
Yeah, that's what happens, when you fight in a battle and then you don't have no trust in the government anymore. Like, all you gotta do is be loyal to your people, the people that you serve with, the people that you trust. You're gonna do things, man. You have to, write people off, man. Be your superiors on the job. As long as you're trying to doing the right thing, it's not always gonna be looked at as something proper in these last days, because you're dealing with a lot of shady characters. Okay, so this is the book of Amos, chapter 3, verse 3. It says, "Can two walk together except they be agreed?" That's a good question. So you already said a descent. All right, all that following commands, all that stuff has gone out the window. So this is just a little spark that set the whole forest on fire. All right. And you already had previous incidents like during the so-called Iraq War, when the soldiers were asking for protective equipment like MRAPs, that could, repel the explosions because Humvees were getting blown up. And when you have a soldier ask, on live, on live TV or whatever, while it's being recorded in front of all the people, all of a sudden the media, try to crucify that soldier. So it just proves, man, when Rumsfeld said, you gotta fight the war on the cheap. Fight the war on the cheap. Meaning these people they're worth nothing. Okay, they're just gonna be used as useless idiots to achieve the goals of the New World Order. But the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai has already trained that monkey wrench in the plan. So it's beautiful to see how the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai is showing these people that he's in control. That at any point in time, he's going to upset their plans. That means they have to go to plan B and plan C and plan D and plan E. But it's not going to work because the Lord is coming to erase the authority upon the face of the earth. All right. So this is the book of Job, chapter 5. Job chapter 5 verse 12. He disappointed the devices of the crafty so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise. And this is just the beginning because Esau knows he's going to fail. But he's going to try because he's stubborn, he's hard-headed. All right? So just imagine, man, how huge that failure is going to be. They're going to weep and cry and howl. And they're gonna be seriously upset. They're gonna be depressed. If you talk about depression, that's an understatement, man. They're gonna be more than depressed because the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai has it in, has an axe to grind with these elites. Okay, so he's gonna disappoint their plans. Okay, and then he says in verse 13, he taketh the wise in their own craftiness, and the counsel of the froward is carried headlong. So they already don't really get it, but they're going to get it when time comes because Lord Yahweh Shema Shai is the master of time. He's the master above time. All right? So he knows how to, manipulate people's minds to do things without them knowing it. Just a little flick, of the finger or flick of the fingernail. Things can happen, man. The Lord moves mountains. So it's beautiful, man, to see these things happen. And I'll play the video some more.
York, Democratic Senator Kirsten Gillibrand. Senator, what do you have to say about Captain Crozier and his decision-making? Do you think he deserved to be fired?
I don't think he deserved to be fired. I sit on the Armed Services Committee, and I'm the ranking member on the Personnel Subcommittee. And I think what he displayed was extraordinary leadership under a crisis situation. He put his sailors first. He obviously sacrificed himself for the good of his sailors. And I think he should be commended, not fired. I've called on the military.
Yeah, so a lot of these so-called politicians can't do the same. They don't have the balls, all right, because they're a bunch of cowards. Yes, I'm just going to leave it there, man. So it just proves that, the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai always has a way to prove that whatever the elites try to do is always going to tear it apart, little by little, okay? So these politicians are not going to really help the people. They're just doing it for lip service, all right? Because they're all bought and paid for, all right? Because they're not going to let the people know what's going on because they already sold out, okay? So final precept is going to be from the book of Mark, chapter 3, verse 24. It says, all right. And if a kingdom be divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand. All right. So whether NBC wants to call on Democrats to talk about it, call on Republicans, It doesn't matter. Call on liberals, call on progressives. It's not going to change anything because the people are already awake. All right, they are upset and they know what's going on. And the time is coming when they're going to come after all these so-called newscasters and senators and congressmen, all these sheriffs and police chiefs, because they know they've been betrayed. So they're going to take out that frustration on all these so-called elected officials. You know, Scripture talks about they shall not regard their kings nor princes. That's spiritual. You know, to come against authority, that's something that cannot be taken lightly. But it's still going to happen because the Lord Yahweh set it in motion. All right? So it's beautiful to see this take place, man, because America has to fall apart, you know, for the kingdom of Israel to be built. So our people can be delivered from this place, because this place is going down. So you can't really choose to hold on to America. You just have to let it go. And that's what Lord Yahweh Shemashai is letting his watchmen tell his people, all right, the elect, that Babylon's about to fall, let every man save his own soul. So that's the point that I can hope you've been edified. We get deeper and deeper into these prophecies. Shalom.